Game one in the books, as Topper says to the Fightins inside the clubhouse. 12 more to go. And last night was electric. You don't have to take my word for it. Of course, if you got two eyes, trust yourself. But if you need a little bit more as far as the electricity inside Citizens Bank Park, our Phillies insider, Luke Arcaini for The Gambler. He was there. This is Luke and I on the Phillies, a podcast on the Fightins as we are off and running in another wonderful red October. Luke, just lay it on us, man. It seemed like it had to be a pretty special place to be at last night.
It was absolutely electric. I was at the Rhys Hoskins bat spike game last year, and last night truly felt like it was even crazier. And that was only game one of the wild card round. It was absolutely incredible in there. Obviously, people have heard the Jeff Passan talking about it felt like an SEC football environment in there last night. There was national broadcasters getting called on hot mics saying they've never seen anything like this. There is such a home field advantage for this team that we saw that started last year. And it was in full force last night. The Jesus chants every time he would throw a pitch. I mean, we were chanting Jesus every single pitch up in the 300 level last night. It was just every pitch. And that's the best part. People were standing for 9 innings straight. The main video that's going viral of Citizens Bank Park right now from Absolutely Hammered on Twitter is the one that he clipped. It's a great Twitter name also, by the way. It's a hell of a name, hell of an account if you guys don't follow. He put some funny stuff out. But he clipped the Zach Wheeler's first strikeout in the first inning, and it sounded like Game 7 of the World Series in the 9th inning, and it was the first inning with no outs in the wild card round. We said it on multiple episodes. The Marlins didn't know what was coming, and it sure looks like they didn't last night. These guys were coming up to the plate, and there are a few guys towards the end of that Marlins lineup that looked like they didn't even want to be there last night. It was absolutely incredible over there last night, and it's going to be even more insane tonight, I think.
Absolutely. 4-1 victory. Phillies went off as a -155 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook. Total definitely stayed under at, I believe it was 7, if I'm not mistaken, or 7.5.
The over-under was,
7.5. Stayed under that, of course. Team totaled up 3.5. Cash.
That video was hilarious, man.
Yeah, shout out to the crew in left field getting down after a win there.
That's
just
such an obvious. That's such an obvious video that when you see guys celebrating.
It's not as obvious as you think. You think it's obvious because it's a winning vibe and everyone's celebrating, but unless you know the plays, you didn't know what they were celebrating. And I saw that run come through. Of course, it could have been any parlay, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
could have been a hit.
That's a 3.5 right there. And I see that celebration with the boys, and I'm going right back to it. Anyways, we'll get into tonight's game too. But I just want to follow up and say, to the people that maybe – I'm not going all stubs here. Like if you don't like Philadelphia, get the F out of here. I'm not. But maybe the people out there that are like rolling their eyes like, okay – Red October, it's crazy, but guess what? It's crazy in every ballpark minus Tampa. It's the playoffs. Minnesota was rocking.
Minnesota was rocking yesterday.
They gave a lot of credit to the fans, and that's the impact that fans can have. But I do want to point this out. Guys like Wheeler who have been here, that did it last year, that have been to the playoffs, I believe, with the Mets. Maybe not with the Giants, but definitely with the Mets. I'm pretty sure he was. And then Trey Turner, right? Like you're talking about guys that have been there and done that. And Wheeler said as much yesterday that when he was going out for warmups, he had goosebumps. He's like, it's just different in this city, and it is. And we deliver as a fan base, and we make you honest. And as Bryce said in that promo, if you don't bring it every single day, this place isn't for you. And the fans last night, they delivered in a big way. That place was unbelievable on TV, and it always is. And Red October is so special. I can't wait to be down there tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, I forgot you're going down tonight, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a hot one out there.
Oh, I was sweating last night. It feels nothing like October.
Well, I do want to point this out. You had a lot of winning plays yesterday. We'll get into that, but he did have a dud on the timeline saying that he wished it was 50 degrees. You and Jansen are completely off on that. But
would have way rather it been 50 degrees last night than 80.
You're out of your mind.
No,
All right, let's keep it moving. Once again, 4-1. Where do we start? I think it's obvious. Zach Wheeler. And again, playing into the crowd, it's a tick up. It's adrenaline. The velocity was up. Wheeler said it, or Topper said it on the broadcast. Wheeler said it afterwards. Schumacher said it during the game as well. Wheeler had it going last night. What did you see? What was the difference maker for you after you went back and watched it again today?
Yeah, I mean, he was brilliant last night. Zach Wheeler was absolutely brilliant last night. 6 2/3, allowing just 1 earned run, 5 hits, and 8 strikeouts. Zach Wheeler has now thrown 3 game ones with the Phillies in the playoffs. The 2022 Wild Card Series last year, he threw 6 1/3 innings and allowed 0 runs. The 2022 NLCS, he went 7 innings strong, allowed 0 earned runs. Last night, 6 2/3, 1 run. That is 20 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 run, and over 23 strikeouts in 3 game ones that he has now thrown for the Phillies. He was absolutely sharp last night. His fastball was moving. He had the zip on it. His first pitch of the night was 98.9. The adrenaline was pumping, like he said. He had those chills walking out. He didn't get to pitch here till late last year, because Nola went. Wheeler went in St. Louis, and then Wheeler also went in Atlanta. So Wheeler didn't get to pitch till the clinching, or Wheeler didn't. Yeah, so Wheeler didn't get to pitch here until later in the San Diego series. So he didn't get much action at Citizens Bank Park last year. So it must have been a really cool moment for him. Another crazy stat that was thrown out. I can't remember who exactly threw it out, because I do want to give this person credit, because it was a fantastic tweet. Matthew Brownstein, lowest postseason whip in MLB history with a minimum of 40 innings pitched. Zach Wheeler, number 1 with a .732. Next is Mariano Rivera, right after him. Then Sandy Koufax and Kenley Jansen.
Oh my goodness!
Zach Wheeler has the lowest postseason whip with a minimum of 40 innings pitched in MLB history.
Wild, absolutely wild.
And he's also on one of the best contracts in all of baseball. He's only making $22 million a year to be an absolute ace on this team.
Yeah, and it was said on the broadcast last night, and the broadcast was kind of like, ho hum. I'm a fan of, like, I could deal with Carl Ravitch, but like they were just begging for a game, and it's like, all right, dude, enough is enough.
Yeah, I'm nervous for tonight, because last night I was obviously no broadcast. So who knows?
Yeah, it was just they were begging, and they were typical announcers without a side, and they were cheering for the underdog, whatever. But they did bring this up, and David Cohn knows a thing or two about pitching. We got to be honest with that. And he said, this is what it's all about. This is what you want from your number 1, your ace, your guy. When you give him the ball in game 1, to go out there and do what Zach Wheeler did. And we talked about it all throughout the course of yesterday. And in our minds, we thought for sure that he can go on a 6 or 7 strikeout type of performance, but he struck out 8 and 6 2/3. He was all over it. And it was just, he had everything work, and everything was down in the zone. There was nothing ever like he was never in danger. When he got pulled, maybe you can put that into the equation, and that's not really, when you think about it, the Marlins lineup maybe might be a little lackluster for some. Chisholm's good. You go down the list. There's pretty good hitters in that lineup, man. They're professionals. So Wheeler just knocked them down before they even had a chance yesterday, and he absolutely is number 1 on the list. Over to the hitters, though. Let's talk a little bit about the performance from the Fightins at the Dish, and I'll go to Trey Turner. I'll start with my guy, Mr. Red October himself. He had 2 stolen bases again, and one was a throw. That one wasn't even a throwdown. I don't remember if the other one did.
There's no point even trying.
No, he went 2 for 3. Just really stepped up and had that double in the first inning, and just obviously cashes our bet. Total bases in the first inning. That's always a fun deal. But Trey Turner looks like he's ready to go for this October.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. 3 at bats last night with 2 hits, had the walk as well. Looks like he also looked great in the field, which is something to see. He got a lot of ground balls last night. Just looked like he was scooping all of them up really easy, which has been a bit of a struggle for him this year. He is pretty high up there in errors, which granted a lot of them did come early in the season when he was going through the yips. But a big night from Trey, a big night all around from your righties, like we talked about yesterday, and even from some of your lefties. We talked about Bryson Stott. Stott did have that RBI last night. I know we talked about that
Plus
Stott
170.
RBI play.
Nice hit by you. Nice hit by you.
Yes, that was definitely a nice one. Nick Castellanos with the RBI. Castellanos is just, listen, Bryce Harper is the king of Philadelphia, but Nick Castellanos, I think, resembles Philly the most. The dude is just incredible. Like, his interviews and the stuff he does on the bases and the putting up the ring finger and everybody thinks it's the middle finger. Just the stuff that he's doing for this team right now and is getting the confidence back that he did not have last year has just been incredible to watch this year, because he's really turned into a completely different baseball player this year. So I do have two really more players, in quotes, of the game other than Zach Wheeler. The first one I want to look at is Christian Pache. Pache, who we acquired off waivers from the Athletics back at the beginning of this season. He was not really going to have any contribution, I don't think, when we got him at this point in the season. He struggled a lot at first. Rob Thompson was kind of throwing him into bad situations, I think, throwing him in there against those right-handed pitching. And to see a guy, a 24-year-old kid like that, who was DFA'd by the Braves or traded by the Braves and then DFA'd by the Athletics and went through so much in just his first 2 years, finally start to like get into a form and find really the place where he belongs, because he has just been exponentially better than he ever was with any other team. His OPS didn't come close to over 500 with Atlanta or Oakland. He's lurking around a 750 OPS with the Phillies. He has a 924 OPS against lefties, and his emotion running around first base last night just got me so amped up. And just being able to step up into that role and only having like 100 at bats this year, and coming into game one of the wild card series in the best home field advantage in all of sports, and to be out there in left field is just an incredible story for him. So he's my real other player of the game last night. And then my biggest standout last night for me is Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson coached an absolute masterclass last night.
Yeah, he did.
From the jump, giving Christian Pache the start, trusting your guys. We talked all year about one of the best parts about Rob Thompson's managing is that he goes to his guys no matter what, and he trusts his guys that he knows he can trust. And it was so obvious in the bullpen last night. The first move that really stood out, bringing Jose Alvarado in and taking Zach Wheeler out. I think Zach Wheeler was starting to get a little soft contact there, which can always lead to bad things, especially in the playoffs. And I think when Thompson came out, Wheeler knew. The big thing, people probably got some flashbacks there last night. Not as big of a situation, but Rob Thompson going out in the sixth inning and pulling Zach Wheeler with 2 outs. Last time that happened, it was a Yordan Alvarez home run at dead center. So going back to Jose Alvarado in with 2 outs in the 7th, who is also just completely back in form now. His off speed is working so good. His confidence is back. Just great to see Jose Alvarado out there. So he did come in to face Yuli, and he did strike him out to end the 7th, which was huge. And then bringing Jeff Hoffman in with 2 outs in the 8th inning to face Jorge Soler. Jorge Soler, a World Series MVP a few years ago with the Braves.
Beast.
To be able to trust a guy like Jeff Hoffman there, who really wasn't even supposed to make this roster at the beginning of the season, to go in game one of the wild card series and face off against a former World Series MVP with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and to be able to trust and not panic and go to a guy like Sir Anthony there or go to a Kimbrel there. Because I'm going to be completely honest, if he went to Kimbrel in the 8th, I think Soler hits an absolute nuke. Hoffman has zip on his fastball right now, and it's really awesome to see. And then just trusting Kimbrel in the ninth. I think Kimbrel hasn't been at his best. He had a really good September, other than those last two outings, and other than the little soft contact last night, he looked really good. Josh Bell, I believe, was the one who I feel like Josh Bell just does everything to us.
He's 3 for 4. 3 for 4 last night. He's a stud.
Josh Bell is just a Phillies killer. He's gonna if there's ever a chance for him to hit another one tonight, he's probably gonna hit a nuke at some point. That's just what he does. He kills us. But being able to send Kimbrel out there in the ninth, even after some bad last few starts, was really awesome from Thompson for me. So just hats off to Rob Thompson, because any other coach, that I truly think that game's a lot closer, and it might have not even went our way.
All right, we'll get on over to tonight's game, talk a little bit about the numbers and expectations there, and of course the big storyline about tonight is Aaron Nola. But I just got a question real fast, 60 seconds on this. Dusty, third base coach. I didn't have an issue too much, and I think people are a little bit over the top on the Schwarber deal. It's the first inning. I believe nobody out. That was the first out. And then, hindsight's 2020. I'm sending them. And Schwarber, it was a bad throw. It was a lot of expectations for the right fielder to make that grab, come across his body, and throw it. So maybe you should have sent him. But you have Bryce Harper coming up. It's the first inning. Everybody relax.
Yeah. So that was my thing really about the Schwarber one, was that I think in my opinion, you make that outfielder make that play.
Yeah, I can live with
it.
Either way,
playoff game, bang play. And realistically, right, even if he does get thrown out there, you have one on with Trey, or you have one out, Harper up to the plate with Trey on third.
Turner third.
So me personally, I'm gonna take that risk there, just because if you get that run on the board early, that place is rocking. But the big one was the Harper one where he just blew right through it.
I didn't ignore Dusty. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ignore him. Nah, he didn't.
Yeah, just kept on moving. Didn't see him.
Head was down. Sorry, head was down.
Yeah.
So
if Bryce removes
you
the
learn
helmet,
that in kindergarten, you run with your head down.
That's it. Get out of the way. All right, let's talk about tonight's game 2 here. Once again, 8:08 first pitch. Nola -155 on the mound, +130. Braxton Garrett getting the start. 8 is your total in this one. If you're feeling froggy, you want to pop on the run line, -1.5 for the Phillies, +142. On the flip side, you can get +1.5 for the Marlins at -170. Red October, Bob Wankel, great write-up once again on some of the names that we should have some expectations coming up for today. A number of Phillies hitters have had some considerable success against Garrett, albeit in a small sample size. Trey Turner, 2 for 6, 2 home runs. Bohm, 5 for 9, 1 home run. Harper, 3 for 9, 2 doubles. JT, 3 for 7, a double home run. He said they all stand out. I love the sound of that. I'm going to continue firing on Trey Turner. Your thoughts offensively going up against Garrett? Where do we stand?
This is the night to mash, I think. Braxton Garrett's good. He's a good lefty. But if they can get to Jesus Luzardo, they can get to Braxton Garrett. That's really my bottom line there. So I am going to look at the offense tonight. I really do think Nola has a fantastic outing tonight.
Why?
I just think he knows what's at stake. I think he's had a really good last 2 outings. They messed around with some mechanical stuff. He's looked really good his last 2 times out there. Nola loves pitching at Citizens Bank. The place is going to be rocking. Nola dealt there last year. It just really feels like a really great opportunity for Nola. And I think he has a lot of favorable matchups down there. So I do think it is going to be Nola's one of his better ones. I did tweet out earlier that I have a weird feeling that this could be Aaron Nola's best outing of the season. I think it's coming tonight. I think I'm gonna look at him tonight for around 6 to 8 strikeouts, at least. I think it's going to be a really big one for him. So I am going to look at that. I also am on the run line by itself as well. Have a few bets in that we'll get some screenshots up for on Twitter in a little bit. One of them being Aaron Nola 6+ Ks, Trey and Bryce 2+ bases each. That is a plus 827 with a profit boost that I did have. Nice. Also on the -1.5, just straight. And then I had a little fun one. Trey, Casty, Bohm, Harper, all 2+ bases. Aaron Nola 6+ Ks and the Phillies -1.5. That is a plus 4,300.
Let's go.
Get on that. That's a good one too.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So we'll be looking at that tonight. few bets, but I do think it's a big night for the offense and Nola.
All right, we turn it up tonight. I like the sound of that. And look, it's been a great run so far through one game. Let's see if we can keep it going tonight. Once again, Luke will be on his couch tonight, so you can be able to follow along with him. Arcaini Luke on socials. I'll be down at the game tweeting away from the Gambler account. Great job, Luke, on all fronts as far as handling some socials for us down at the stadium last night. Quickly on this, just wanted to get your thoughts on Rangers and Rays. Any surprise there? Rangers looked really comfortable.
Yeah, Rangers look good. That offense is good. We talked about it. I know we both leaned Rays yesterday, but I did say I really do want the Rangers to win this series. I think the Rangers are more fun. I think the Rangers have a great lineup. I think they have guys that could just absolutely mash the ball.
They went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. That game was only 4-0. It should have been 11-0.
Yeah, and that was kind of how the Phillies were last night too. The Phillies were not good at all with runners in scoring position last night. They had many chances early in the game. Yeah, so I am probably going to. Oh man, because it is obviously the Rays have Eflin going today, which is. I never like to bet against Eflin because he had a fantastic year this year for the Rays. I would probably lead. I'm going to take the Rangers today.
Yeah,
I'm going to take the Rangers. I think they're going to close it out. I don't really love a play in the Blue Jays. I'd probably look maybe the over. But the Diamondbacks Brewers game is really going to be the good one today.
That was a great game yesterday.
Great pitching matchups. I'm probably going to lean Diamondbacks plus 110 with Zach Gallen on the mound.
Diamondbacks advance.
Diamondbacks advance. I think I believe it was Mark Henry Jr. tweeted out this morning, hot take, that all 4 teams that won yesterday win again today. So that would be what? Rangers, Twins, D-backs, and Phils. So
Mark Henry Jr. I kind of like that. What's that parlay sitting at?
Let's see.
That's not a bad
Rangers
there. 3:08
Twins.
p.m. Rangers and Rays. We're recording this a little early here. Blue Jays and Twins going off at 4:38. Diamondbacks and Brewers at 7:08. Of course, the Phillies and Marlins at 8:08. You got that number?
That's a plus 12-18 parlay.
All right, we'll call that the MHJ special. Let's get on board at DraftKings Sportsbook. We should use Brace as the promo code. Luke, always a pleasure. We'll be back at it tomorrow, breaking down game 2. Hopefully not talking about a game 3. No. If that's the case, no panic. We're going to be live at the Trap Tavern tomorrow. We're going to be having a lot of fun, giving away an Eagles trip courtesy of the friends over at Miller Lite. So looking forward to that. But we'll have Major League Baseball to talk about nonetheless tomorrow on the show. Always a pleasure, man. Enjoy the game. And for Luke Arcaini, our Phillies insider for the Gambler, I am Sean Brace. Go Phils. We'll talk to you.